Hello beautiful people, I have never done this before, but I thought that I'd start reviewing books. I love reading. Reading is one of my hobbies, and I thought it would be cool if I did some book review. This video I'll start with two books, which is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, and East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Now both of these novels or books were presents from my friend for my birthday, and I really love this present because these are their favorite books. Also, I've been keeping track of what I've been reading with this small reading journal. I've only started to have one. I've never had one in my life. Well, I kind of had one because in government school it's compulsory for you to like read a certain amount of books per year or something like that, and you have to record it in like a book that they give you. But this is like my first personal thing. I have never done any form of like a book review. I've never had any, and honestly I haven't watched any videos of a review, which is probably something that I should have done. But I'm gonna basically tell you what I liked and what I disliked about the book. So I'll start with John Steinbeck's book, East of Eden. This book was quite long for me. It was very long, and it's been a while since I've read quite a long book. It doesn't seem that thick, but when you open it, that's like, the words are really small. So yeah, the words are really small, and it took me a while, but yeah, it's about something that's been set up in the 20th century. It's about a family that's set up in the 20th century in the Salinas Valley, and it's very interesting. It starts off, it's a very descriptive novel, which is why I think it's like pretty long. I haven't read anything that is as descriptive as this book is. It helps with like imagining the scenes and everything. Like he describes the surroundings, the kind of flowers, because this book spans like across years. It's really long, and you kind of start off looking at different families and different situations and different characters and from different backgrounds, but they all kind of like meet at the end with like the Trask family, Adam Trask. I find it very interesting. Honestly, I wouldn't say that I completely understood the objective of this book. In my notes for East of Eden, I rated this 4 out of 5 reasons because it took very long, so that's why it wasn't 5 out of 5. I think the progress of the story was quite slow to reach the peak. There was a lot of interesting characters and interesting like perspectives onto the story that was going on. It was a really enjoyable read. There wasn't any parts that I felt like I wanted to skip completely or worth skipping. Like every part of the novel was an important part of the story. And here I wrote my inspiration from this book is to always be critical of people and ideas, and that you can always be a better person. Now in this character, one of my favorite characters called Kathy or Kate. Basically she's quite like sociopathic apparently, and like she's all this evil and everything. She gave birth to twins, but she kind of left them. It's a bit hard to explain, you have to read the book. But basically one of the twins kind of seemed like he was turning into her, like he was more like he was kind of like sociopathic as well, or he felt that he was a bit sociopathic or crazy or evil or whatever. And basically at the end of the story he kind of confronts her and tells her that I'm not you, I can be my own person, I'm not going to be evil, and it's not something that I can't change. Which I think is a good reason. And the first one was about critical ideas. Basically there's this one Chinese character, I can't remember what his name is now. Lee, and he's basically very wise, I think he's one of the wise characters in this book, and he's constantly learning new things and criticizing ideas. They were being very critical to any form of ideas or ideologies that were presented, and I think that was very interesting and very important to me. So all in all, I would recommend this book to people who don't mind reading a very long book. And this is this is set in the past, so it's definitely not it's a fictional story, but it's not a fantasy. Yeah, I probably wouldn't pick up another book. I mean, it's a really good book. It's just that I wouldn't pick it up for something as a leisure read. I wouldn't. But yeah. So moving on to my second book, which is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman also wrote books like Coraline. And I never knew that. I've seen Coraline, but I haven't read Coraline. And I think I'm gonna read. Now this book is kind of set in a dystopian kind of realm. Well, it's kind of set in the reality, but it shows that there's a hidden world behind like the reality where everything can be explained and stuff like that. Basically, this book blew my mind away. And it was very interesting in that sense. I finished it within a day, within a couple of hours. I finished the whole book, and it was because it was so interesting, and I don't know, weird things sort of started to happen in the books, and I couldn't make sense of it, and it was just a different world. Like I don't know. I have probably personally, I think that I've never read a book that surprised me as much as this book did, because of how it is. But Neil Gaiman, like if you've watched Coraline, or if you've read Coraline, it sort of has a similar vibe to that, like that inquisitiveness, or like the element of surprise that you don't really expect to come. You can never predict what's going to happen next, and you know, it's very refreshing when you find a book like that. So I definitely recommend this. I think this book is very readable. Font's much bigger, and I read that book right after I read this book, so that was a huge jump from this to the other book. But yeah, this is very readable of people across all ages. I think a 12-year-old could enjoy this as much as a 20-something-year-old person, or I don't know about 40-year-old people. I don't know if I can comment on that, but I feel like this is it reaches out to all different audience, and it's a very easy read, except that, you know, it's sort of a thriller as well, because I don't know, it might give you nightmares. It might. Because the character that the main character was running away from is very scary. But you know what was interesting? At the end of the book, I still didn't know what was happening, which is kind of funny, which is kind of like the concept. It just hung that there wasn't any like explanation to what had happened, which, I mean, certain readers can get very frustrated about. And I think initially that was how I felt, like very frustrated. But my friend was like, she likes it because it didn't it ended that way. And after a while, I kind of saw the beauty of the ending of the story, and yeah, I quite liked it. According to the book, I rated this 4.5. I wonder what the 0.5 was. Oh yeah, and one of the inspiration that I wrote in the book was, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know everything to be content, which is basically kind of like what this book was about as well, because the boy, or the man, or the main character of the book kind of never knew what really happened, or he keeps forgetting, or like there's a magic over him that doesn't allow him to remember exactly everything that had happened. And yeah, I guess that's why, like, you know, I saw the beauty in it later. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I do other stuff like vlog about my student life, studying in the UK. So click subscribe, the like button if you want more of this, and thank you for watching. Bye!